How is it going, everyone? It's K Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about a horror game that is a little bit different than your average horror game because this one involves dinosaurs, which is really cool actually because it starts off kind of like Slenderman The Arrival does. It kind of just drops you off in the middle of the forest, and as you start walking in the forest, it gets darker and darker. And then you start hearing loud footsteps. You hear footsteps of like smaller dinosaurs running around you and stuff like that. And once you actually get into the RV, that's when everything kicks off. You get into the RV, you come face to face with a T Rex right off the bat, and this game is just all gas, no brakes from there. It's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoy this game. This isn't the longest game in the world. In fact, the first time I played through it, I think I played through it in like 50 minutes, so it wasn't very long, and I played through the game twice because I wanted to make sure I got all of the collectibles and just to see if there was any sort of like extra ending or anything like that, and there wasn't. There was only one ending. But I still wanted to just try and see what would happen if I found all the collectibles. And there's a nice guide on Steam that you can use to find all the collectibles. So I played through the first time, just found the ones that I was able to by myself. Then the second playthrough, I used the guide to find the collectibles and basically played through the game 2 different times. And I enjoyed both of my playthroughs. I really enjoyed this game. You know, it's very stressful, but it's stressful in the fun way because you know you're getting chased. You know, you can feel the vibrations behind you of these gigantic dinosaurs. You know, the screen is shaking, the footsteps are making everything shake, and even objects around you are shaking and stuff like that. And it just makes for a very fun, very action-packed, stressful scenario because you are just running as fast as you can away from some of these dinosaurs. And when you get into buildings with some of these dinosaurs, you know, when you get into a building with some of these smaller ones, that can also be stressful because you could open a door and then there might be one walking the hallways and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And I will say a lot of the areas in this game do feel a little bit scripted, but I don't mind it too much. You know, it's not super scripted. I mean, you can still die in this game, right? Like if you come around a corner and one of the dinosaurs is walking around the corner at the same time, especially there's one level that's in the sewers and there's like one of those dinosaurs that spits, it can spit the acid. If you are doing that, you can get killed in this game super easy when you're walking around that specific area. Somehow the first time I played through it, I had no issue, but when I was replaying it, I kept getting killed by that stupid spitter. But I really enjoyed the different types of dinosaurs that you see in this game. The main ones that you're going to be seeing is you're going to be seeing velociraptors, you're going to be seeing those weird spitting dinosaurs that I can't remember the name of, you're going to be seeing the T-Rexes, and you're going to also see some fossils of some interesting looking dinosaurs if you're able to find all of the totems. I thought that was actually pretty cool. A cool little Easter egg. If you can find all of the totems, you can unlock a secret door and you get access to a really cool fossil, a little Easter egg for you. And it's pretty cool. I really actually liked running into the Easter egg and seeing it. And I liked finding all of the totems that you need to open up this secret door. There's 3 in every level, and they're hidden pretty well for the most part. They're usually like tucked underneath like a tree that's fallen, or you know, they're just kind of off in the corner of the map where you most likely just would overlook it pretty easily. But like I said, there's some good guides that can help you find them if you're wanting to find them on a replay. And I would recommend finding them on a replay of this game. I wouldn't do it your first time because I think you should play through this entire game without a guide the first time you play through it and just kind of enjoy the atmosphere of it, enjoy the gameplay of it, and then replay it and find all the totems if you really want to see the Easter egg ending, because it's not a very long game, so a couple playthroughs won't take you much time at all. I think it would be fair to call this game a walking simulator that just has a lot of horror elements to it. You know, it's definitely a horror game, don't get me wrong, but there's no way to really defend yourself. You know, it is pretty handholdy, I would say. Like, there's some puzzles, but the puzzles are like really simple stuff, right? Like, it's just like, you find a gas canister, and what are you going to do with a gas canister? Well, you're probably going to go find an empty car, right? So it's just simple stuff like that. So it's very easy, and it's essentially a walking simulator. I agree with people who say that it is one, but it is a really darn good walking simulator, I'll put it that way, and it is a lot of fun. I really think that the graphics for what this game is are not too bad. This is not a very expensive game, so the graphics are fine for what they are. You know, they're not going to blow you away, but they look pretty good, and they definitely still help, especially because, I mean, a lot of these settings are dark anyway, So like whenever you see just a T-Rex in the darkness, it's still going to look pretty darn good, right? So I don't really have any issues with the graphics. The sound design was really, really good. And I love the way that they used the footsteps of the dinosaurs, especially because, like, when you're in the RV section, for example, when you're waiting there and that T-Rex is walking around, it's stomping and you can see beer bottles flying up in the air and stuff like that. They did a good job with just using the environment to really help with the scares, right? So I really, really enjoyed that. And I wouldn't really say that this game is scary per se, even though it is a horror game. I would just say that it's tense. And I do like that tense feeling that it brings to the table. You don't really have any way to defend yourself. You really only have a flashlight. And when your flashlight will die eventually in this game, it's just kind of part of the story. And when it does, it will make you nervous. But I like that. I kind of like the stress that put me under. It wasn't a bad type. It was like a fun type of stressful. So I really enjoyed that. And overall, I really just enjoyed this game, and I think that it's definitely worth a playthrough. And I'm glad that I played through this for Halloween. You know, it's a different type of horror game. It's something that you don't really see much of. It definitely, definitely takes inspiration from Jurassic Park, which is a great thing, you know. I would be offended if it didn't take inspiration from Jurassic Park. So I really like some of the references and just how they also use some of even how the dinosaurs react to you from Jurassic Park. I think that's actually kind of cool that they did that. So it's a really cool game. I really recommend that you go play through Oakwood. I will be honest, the ending leaves a little bit to be desired. However, I still really like it. I still just think that the gameplay overall and the environment is so unique and so different for a horror game. You don't get many, you know, dinosaur horror games that are just straight up horror games, right? Like there was Dino Crisis back in the day, but it's not the same as this, right? This is a pure horror game. You don't really have any way to defend yourself. It's just you trying to survive, and I like that. It's fun. It's pretty cool. It's pretty linear, but it is fun. I really did enjoy my time with it. So go check out Oakwood. It's a really fun game to play for Halloween, and it's very different from most horror games that you'll see. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.